Hey guys, and welcome to Road to Forex, where we discuss everything in relation to the foreign exchange. Of course, I am your host Alex, so without further ado, let's get stuck into today's episode. Have I got an absolute belter of an episode for you guys today? To say this episode is chock full of pearls of wisdom and golden nuggets is an understatement. The advice given and the insights given are absolutely invaluable, to say the least. And on a personal note, I've had so much fun making this episode. And I'll apologize for this in advance. You could actually hear me audibly agreeing throughout this podcast, just because I think what's being said is so right. And it just makes a lot of sense. There are even insights in this podcast, in this episode, that I haven't even thought of. So some brand new stuff is going to be discussed. So please sit back, relax, get a pen and paper, I beg of you. Because if you really listen to what's being said, this could be life-changing. The journey of this person that I've interviewed is really, really, really relatable to at least the majority, if not all of you guys here today. Now, to give you a brief introduction of the person that I'm interviewing today, his name is Ilya. Now, I've been working with him since March of this year, 2023, and before he met me, I believe he had about 3 years of experience in the markets. Now, during this episode, you're going to hear him go from a swing trader, which is what he originally is, to a day trader, to a scalper. You're going to hear all the things that, have made him the trader that he is today, his most valuable insights, how he deals with emotions, how he deals with psychology, literature that this man has read, and what he recommends, because he has recommended a lot. And finally, why you should listen to him, because he is sitting with a 100K account. Because I can say from knowing him for this long, and from his journey from March to now, he has gone through the ringer, and he has come out a really well-rounded, a developed trader, and he stands where you guys want to be. The owner of a 100K account, right? Maybe even more, and standing on the precipice of getting everything that you guys want to get. And he's there. From being someone that wasn't passing challenges, to beating himself up, to all this other stuff. He's here now, standing alongside me and other profitable professional traders. So please listen of how he's got here, because his journey, his insights, his advice, as I said, might be the thing that helps you, that changes your own Forex journey. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. All right, well, thank you for coming on my podcast. I know you were originally a listener before we ever spoke, which was pretty cool. So now you're here, full circle. Ilya, welcome. How are you?
Wow. Now that I think about it, yeah, that's some journey. I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, it has been some time. When did we actually start working together? Was it? You wanted your first account, you were going to go for it in May. So I think 2 months before May, or we probably first started.
That's a funny one, because I started listening to you. I found your podcast around February time, and took my time, listened through the entire thing in about a month, as many as you had episodes at the time, and then decided. You mentioned that you do mentoring. So I thought I visited your link tree and found you, booked a 15 minutes, spoke to you in March, and in March 2023, and I told you that I am intending to work with you, but I'm not going to start my challenge till May.
Yeah.
Because my back test says that May is the best month.
And how did that go for you?
Well, I believe May wasn't great for everyone. Well, I liked the preparation for it, but it didn't work out at the time.
Yeah.
Though, I have to mention, I didn't fail that challenge.
Yeah, that's true. That is also very true. So, First one, didn't fail it, so you can't get a lot better than that. I mean, you can pass it, but not failing is definitely a start.
Yeah, yeah. Funny
Cool.
times.
Easy. So, actually, if we dive into the first question, after giving you that little bit of an introduction there, more of a chat between us, what actually started you on your Forex journey? You know, what sparked your interest? How did you get started in the market?
Initially, now that I think about it, I just wanted to do something. I was in uni, and I was slowly coming to realize that I'm not a big fan of what I'm studying at that moment. That was physiotherapy, and I started looking into things. Started looking at investments and crypto. Didn't think of trading at all. Just what I was having. I managed to save up a little bit, and I was just planning to invest it somewhere, just so money is working in and not just staying in the bank account.
Mm.
And spoke to a friend of mine. He said, "Yeah, I'm doing that Forex thing." Sent me a link, and the link has led me to a load of technical analysis basis, but it was directed. It was directed towards, if anyone knows it, binary options.
Oh, yes.
Horrible, 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 horrible instrument, if you can call it this. Yeah, not going to go into the depth of explaining what it is, but a waste of time. And then once I realized after a ton of reading, ton of failures, when I realized that there is such thing as risk and reward, and then it's crucial to nail this down first to ever even think about being profitable in this game.
100%.
Binary options had it screwed in the first place, so it never worked out for me. And then once I realized about risk and reward, that's when the Forex journey began.
Oh, wow. So a bit of
I
a
never
roundabout
stopped from
way.
there.
There we go. Yeah, I actually didn't know that you tried the binary options first. I mean, everyone's got their own journey here, but that's quite cool. Especially for those of you who don't know, when I went over to England this year, I actually met Ilya, probably for the first and only student that I've ever met in the flesh. And I also studied a health science related and was doing occupational therapy, very similar to physio. And his journey, very similar to mine. So it's very cool to see that, out there's so many people who have so many different journeys, and so many people that have very similar journeys to yourself, such as me and Ilya. But that is definitely an interesting story. I know I found Forex when I was in university as well, and really not happy with what I was doing. Obviously started a little bit earlier, but yeah, made the jump over. So that's really cool. That's really cool to hear. Funny that you started in binary options. I don't know a single bloke that has made any money from binary. That thing just scares me.
I haven't spoken to no one that have. But for some reason, I spent over a year trying to master it. For me, it was looking like a simplified version of trading. So I thought, well, if this is simplified, let me master this first, and then as a progression, move on to Forex and so on. That was silly.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for that. It actually kind of leads me into the next question, because obviously everyone's already hearing that, you've done a few things. You've done binary before. You're going into Forex. Obviously they know that they at least know you've been with me or working with me since March. I know you've had quite a few trading styles. I know I've seen your progression. I know the listeners don't. So out of everything that you've done, because for the listeners who don't know, Ilya has done swing trading, day trading, and now scalping all within the year. And he's had his own strategies, had my strategies, helps me backtest a new one. So Ilya is like a jack of all trades. So knowing that you've done all this stuff and you've actually got a good sense of, each, kind of trading style, whether it's technical analysis or swing trading or smart money, whatever it is, what approach have you found the most effective for you, and why does that work so well for you?
That's an interesting question. You know, thinking about what I do now and what works for me, I think it actually depends a lot on an individual case, on a few factors really. First being the timescale of when of your first of all of your occupation, whether you're employed or you aren't, whether you can trade whilst you're working your full-time job, or you have your full day available to yourself. So all that goes into play. The reason I'm scalping right now, I've actually started with, my original strategies with which I was going to do my first prop firm. That was a swing trading strategy. And I was intended to do it and pass a prop firm challenge whilst working. And it just didn't seem to work for me. I've backtested, a lot, and I've had a lot of confidence in the strategy. But at the time, it just wasn't working. I was missing trades, due to being out and not checking my phone as the charts, I have to say, as often as I should have. So I was missing winners and, was only hopping into losers. And the win rate was not accurate. So I thought, well, let's just take this serious for once. And it was a good timing because I finished a job. I worked in construction. And I dedicated a specific, I've had some savings, and I said, so let's dedicate this time to trading only. So I don't have an excuse of saying, I just didn't have time, I missed it, and, just a bunch of excuses, just an unprofessional approach. I said, let me try and live a life of a professional for once and see where it leads me to. And now, since I gave it a go, it wouldn't be logical for me to do swing trading whilst having full day available to myself. So I thought, I might as well. And it was very conveniently that very time when I was thinking about all this, you came up with this scalping strategy that we do, and consequently, hopped in on this train and gave it a go. Luckily, I was at a stage where I still sometimes struggle with my psychology, but not to a point where it leads me to, the poor trading habits like, revenge trading, etc. So it wasn't too difficult for me to switch. The most difficult thing with scalping for me at the moment was until we found a solution, is actually executing trades. Because when you swing trade, you can just take your time, you can calculate the lot size, and I was trading 4 hours at the time, so I had all day to prepare for my positions. But now when you came up with all them 3-minute, 1-minute charts, and I needed to literally go through the same process of calculating the lot size and and everything, I felt like I was just a turtle in a race.
Yeah.
But then we came up to some solutions, and now it all feels just organic. I feel it's just trading sped up.
Yeah.
So same charts, you just trade it quicker.
Yeah. So what you're basically saying there is, depending on like how much time you have and what you're really looking for, there's no real best approach for you. It's just fitting what's going on with your lifestyle at that current point in time. And right now, it's scalping.
That's right. And of course, you have to be lucky enough, like I was, to have a mentor or someone in your life that would help you out with the strategy. And and because not everyone has this opportunity to just suddenly switch to another trading style, because it's a long process. You have to find the strategy, backtest it, gain some confidence in it, I don't think I'd be able to do this without having a mentor.
Yeah, I know from someone that, I guess, from my perspective of making the strategy and finding it, having you here with me to actually help me back test it has been phenomenal. And that's why I usually say to everyone, you need to be part of a community, you need a trading partner, because that would have taken me, days, weeks, more um, than it did. So very grateful for that as well. Anyway, that's quite cool. I actually haven't had that reply on an interview before. It's usually like, oh, I find swing trading best because of this, or I find day trading best because this is it. And you've come along and just gone, okay, it's just fitting. I just fit, that trading style to how I'm going, and it's realistically what I've been saying in my other podcasts. Like, you need to find what works best with you around what you're doing, and you've come out and said that. So that's very good.
Because I am not intending to stay on scalping for the rest of my career. I still, this strategy of my own that you keep talking about, that's not in the bin. It's still in plans, and I just need to achieve a little more and get myself ready and prepared so I can put myself in a position when I can trade it, and I have a full intention to trade it in the future, which is a swing strategy.
Yeah.
So, like I say, it all depends on your personal circumstance. And once the time comes, I will implement more trading styles in my routine. Because scalping is work.
Yes, it is work. It's
so depending
very
on the
tiring.
strategy, if you left the office work and expect to just put your feet up on a table and click a few buttons, half an hour a day and call it a day.
It's not happening.
Depending on your strategy, it might not be the case, and you might still have to sit at the charts at the desk.
That is very true. That's very true. Oh, that's so funny. I guess moving on from that, I wanted to let everyone know that Ilya has recently passed a 100k account, which is absolutely fantastic. As I said, I've been working with him for a number of months. It's taken quite some time. A lot of challenges you have faced during this time, a lot of challenges you've had to overcome. But in saying that, hitting this point and being like, okay, I've done something I've not been able to do. It's a huge moment. It's awesome. Going to be a memorable success story for you for quite some time. Could you give us let's say one or two of the things that, you most needed to learn to actually get you here? If you were to say the most important lessons that I learned to get me to this spot where I have been able to do this thing, if you could narrow it down to two, what would they be?
Wow. If we were to talk generic, I could narrow it down to one, and that's simply being psychology. Just finding an edge. You can find an edge on YouTube, backtesting. There it is. Spend 2-3 weeks on it, familiarize yourself with it, and that's one. Easy. But being able to stick with it, going through thick and thin, the drawdowns, that's the difficulty that I believe the majority of people trying are having difficulties with. That's the turning factor. And once you master this, but psychology can be broken down into many factors. Severe cases is when it affects your trading decisions. Like, a loss can lead to revenge trading, or just not opening random trades that aren't necessarily in line with the trading plan. But then there is a milder version of this, which I struggled with a lot, affected me mentally, is drawdowns. I go through them, as you know, all them messages through random times throughout the day. I texted you drawdowns. I don't want to swear on this podcast.
Yeah, you can. It's fine.
Yeah. But once there, once you actually realize, I was going to say that once you realize the game of probabilities and the random distribution of wins and losses of any given variable, then it becomes easy. But then the reason I laughed because I then realized it doesn't really help. um, a massive thing is actually having this belief that you can actually make it,
Mm.
and that's a tough one. That's a tough one, and for me, that was the most challenging thing to reach.
Mm.
Having this belief that it's not impossible. There are people doing it for a living, the likes of yourself,
Mm.
and there is nothing stopping you from becoming one of those. But when
Mm.
you go through this bloody drawdown, you think that this is just impossible.
Mm. It definitely does feel that way, and I know we've had some funny moments. I've literally, as Ilya alluded to before, I've woken up, and there's been a big message from Ilya, and I'll be like, "Oh, what is this?" And then half an hour later, there's been a message just going, "Don't worry, I'm okay now." And I woke up to them a few times, which was great. But I totally understand it though, because I went through the same thing, like strategies, like, "Oh, why don't they work? What's going on? What's happening?" And something recently was something that Ilya and I actually discussed, because I can count on one hand, and I don't even need the whole hand of how many people I actually will talk to about Forex. Now, Ilya is one of them. How to deal with drawdown. It was in terms of a scalping sense, but how to do that in terms of drawdown, and even applying that to the Starlight strategy has been huge. And the reason why I say that is because having a strategy that works, especially from, I feel, and Ilya, you can say something different about this, from Ilya's perspective, coming in and going, well, I've just been given a strategy by, say, me, Alex. We know it works because he's a funded trader. There's other people in this group that are funded traders. Why isn't this working for me? It's crazy. And that can be, so soul wrenching to be so close to it and just go, I know everything should be working, but I'm 3% down, I'm 4% down. And again, as Ilya alluded to before, which is really good, during that time, you're going to make stupid mistakes. And it's those stupid mistakes, while if you can't master that psychology, you're just doomed to fail and repeat and repeat and repeat. Are you feeling like that's a very similar thing to what you're saying, Ilya?
For sure, for sure. Um, you just really have to just switch. It's easy to say trade like a robot,
Mm.
but all of us tried and all of us realized that that's just that will never happen. You can't be a robot. We're human. We do feel emotions, but I think in this case, it's important to mention that it's okay to experience and feel what you feel
Mm.
during drawdown and during the losses.
Yeah.
But the strength is in ignoring it, being able to just, call it a process. That's
Yeah.
it. That's just it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I giving people a bit of insight, but I know you get emotional sometimes, but
Yeah, you've heard me get emotional.
yeah, but the difference that differentiates you from other people trying is that you don't let this affect your trading. You can react all you want. You can shout. You can
Mm.
cry, laugh, whatever is your choice of emotion. But as long as you don't let this go into your terminal, your MetaTrader, then you fit to just continue executing a plan, you're good to go. You're all right, and it's all right. It's all right to feel what you feel. It's all
Mm.
right to feel cursed.
Yeah, no, that's actually a fantastic point, because I think I have been saying that, and maybe I have been wrong in saying that, you know, you should be trading like a robot, but a robot that can, freak out, that can have emotions, but can immediately after that switch back into that robotic phase. Because as you said, like, I've been on trades with Ilya and I've just been swearing, like going off at this trade because it's just really annoyed me, or it's just pipped me and then it's gone for TP. Like, that always annoys me. But then as soon as I see the next trade come in, I'm like, I'm honed in, I'm focused, I'm ready to go again, and it's just as if that trade never happened, and then you just keep on moving on. So yeah, crazy. That was a fantastic response there about that. So psychology, probably the reason why I do so many episodes on it. But I'll move on from there because we could talk about psychology every single day of the week. I know we've just talked about some challenging moments for you already. I know you've talked and said, hey, I struggled with drawdown. These are things that I struggled with. But there's like a moment where you could look back and say, hey, this moment here was a moment where I really looked at my trading, career, and I thought, is this the thing for me? And what was that moment? How did you push through that? What got you over that line to keep on going?
I just don't have enough fingers on my hands, mate. Yeah. Just reminiscing. That's just one hell of a journey, and that's likely the most difficult question you could ask me.
Yeah.
Wow. Looking back at it, I was having one of them fits when I was having 3% drawdown on the prop firm challenge. Thinking about it now, 3%, laughing. What is it? But those particular days, I thought, mate, I'm just not cut out for this. That's just not it. I know I can be disciplined to sit, and backtest for hours straight. I can have 14, 15-hour days just going through data, analyzing it, optimizing it, making it work, bringing this win rate higher up, all on historical data. But when it comes to live trading, every other loss led to such things, every other one. But then the big turning point for me was when the big point of reflection was when I'm not sure if we're good to mention it, but my Forex funds.
Oh yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. So when my Forex funds went bust, I was on my, what was it, fourth or third extension. So, and I was not making it. But the reason I'm saying it was a reflection, because by not making it, I was also not losing it. So I was just sat there thinking, what am I doing? Am I wasting my time? Am I just, just go in circles? And that's remember that day when I rang you, so we need to change something, we need to make amends. And I thought that I'd try and take your strategy. That was one of them days. I've just had to, it was a pain to give up on the method that I've created myself and open doors for something else. And that was definitely one of the moments when I thought, I'm either giving it another go, or I might as well just leave it.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I guess the thing that got you through it, and this is why I mention it so much, is not just to have a mentor, but I would obviously recommend it, being in the business of mentoring, but having someone to chat to about Forex, another trader, hence why joining a community is so important. So I'm assuming that the support that you either got from me or maybe your family as well, I don't know, or maybe the Discord group was the thing that you just went, okay, I'm going to do it. Or was it just something inside you that just went, I'm going to give it one more shot. I'm just going to do it.
I spend, well, not nearly as much as you, but I'm coming close to my fourth year now, and I'm not a kind of guy to half-ass the things I do. So I took it rather serious. I took a good year off.
Yeah.
In 2022, just sorting my life out, because at the time I let a horrible psychological mistake happen. I was in a poor financial situation and decided I'll use trading to pull myself out of this. So the wise decision got me even deeper in the waters that I was in. So I decided to take this year off and then go back to it. But all the 3 years, except that 1 year, the 3 years that I was in, I was dedicated. I was studying. I was putting hours in. I was reading. The amount of literature, the amount of technical literature I read. I could have spent this time doing anything else. But just thinking about how much hours has gone into this.
Yeah.
And for me to just turn it around and leave it, I just couldn't let this happen.
Yeah, and honestly, hearing that, it's genuinely inspiring, and I mean that because cathartic as well for me as a trader. I remember having the exact same thought time after time. As everyone knows in this podcast, I took a year off at one point because I was just so beaten up from Forex, but I could never leave it because of what you just said, because of how much time, how much effort I put in. And I talked to, on a separate note, I talked to someone the other day I hadn't talked to in ages. He's got the Starlight strategy, and he just went, I just gave up. It's not for me. I moved on. And I just went, this might sound weird, just filled me with anger. I was just angry because I was just like, I know how much effort you put in. I know it can be done. And for you to just give up, when people like you, me, guys in the Discord group, listeners, struggle on so much to keep this dream going. If you've put in those hours and you put in that effort, you put in that dedication, you are realistic. You're just a few steps away from being able to do it. I know for you, you had to take like 10 steps backwards, and then you just running jumped into a 100k challenge, and then you were just like, yeah, I've done it. I've done it. But it was all your collectiveness and your ability. I don't mean it's ability. Maybe it's something like in someone to just say, I'm not going to give up on this. And now to put it in a lighter perspective, like you're sitting obviously with a 100k account, the precipice of, even if you were just risking 0.01%, and keeping it, just doing the most insanely conservative risk management, you've got that. You've done that. You've hit that. And that is inspirational because your dreams, everything that you want, are sitting right there. You've got the login details, you've got your username, you've got your password, you've got the account, and it's right there. So on that note as well, I've done a huge roundabout and ramble. Just wanted to say, as I've already said to you, congratulations, man, because I know how hard you have worked. And I've seen you doing this from March, it's November now, and you're here. It's a completely different state to what you were. You're a completely different trader. But because you, as you said, just were dedicated and you didn't give up, even through all that BS and that crap, the rewards have paid off. So well done.
Appreciate it, Alex. Thank you. And thank you for being with me on that journey as well.
It's been great, mate. It's been great. I've actually really enjoyed it. Apart from the random bits at the start where you're like, Alex, what's going on? What's going on in the drawdown days? Now you're just completely different. But
I bet you didn't mind it.
It stressed me out. I'll just wake up and the first thing, because again, we're in different time zones, it's just this big ass message or a 3-4 minute voice message from you just going, man, this is because I was obviously in a different state and I've gone through all those emotions. I was just like, I remember being like this. I remember doing this. And unfortunately, like I can give you all the direction in the world, but with psychology, it's kind of like you've got to smack your head against that rock until the lesson is is firmly ingrained in your brain. And Forex is that rock. It's a hard rock. It's really, really violent, and it will hurt you. But if you just keep on going, you can be like, 3%, as you said, used to pain me. It's nothing. It's nothing anymore. I don't care about 3%. Like, I'm all good. I'm going to get back from this 3%. So, yeah, fantastic work. Anyway, I'll move on from that because you actually raised something that I wanted to talk about. I know you have read a lot of literature. I know you have quoted it in the Discord group a few times. Do you have a top 3, top 2 of what you've listened to? I'm pretty sure I know it, but for the listeners, have you got like top 3 or top 2 of some literature that's really helped you out?
Wow. Well, the Bible of Forex. Well, not Forex, sorry. Trading in general, whatever you trade, futures, crypto, Forex, everything all the charts that move. It's Mark Douglas, and this man just manages to gather everything you need to know about this game of trading, all in one book called Trading in the Zone.
Yep.
I've just listened to your interview with Stephen the other day. He said he's listened to it multiple times. So did I. You let this information just sink in and sit in and until it actually starts making sense to you. But this is psychology. I think this is the only and Best Loser Wins by I think the guy's called Tom. I can't remember the surname. The Danish guy. Never mind. So Tom with Best Loser Wins. Mark Douglas with Trading in the Zone.
Tom Hoggard, Houggaard.
That's the one. Because what Mark Douglas talks about, he just introduces you to the game of probabilities, random distribution of wins and losses. But Tom actually focuses on the losing part of the game, that you actually have to, embrace the losses, be good at losing, know your win rate, and know that the win rate is an indication that you will inevitably have losers. And as long as you're okay with that, as long as you're a good loser, you'll be all right. You'll be good to go. But I've also... It's a ton of literature on the technicals, Your local, I keep mentioning it, Landsberg's, although the guy focuses on scalping, his price action description is it's priceless. The way he talks about momentum in price action and identifying weaknesses in trends, he's just very valuable information. There is a... even just to think about all of this, there is that guy from My Forex, not from the Forex Factory, with the nickname of Fanti. He released a short book as well of trading. I can't remember what it was called. Let me just. That was the strength of the supply and demand. That was a good book as well. The basics like routers, technical analysis by routers. The most basic stuff. That just runs you through basic indicators. Support, resistance, all this essential information. But literature is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the top 2 plus 6 more, something like that. So I like that. So I can't remember what it was now. I don't think I've actually read The Best Loser Wins. If I were to add something in there, it would definitely be The Science of Getting Rich. That's another really, really good psychology book. I can say it 100% changed my life. Mark Douglas, Trading the Zone, is definitely the Bible. If you haven't read it, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. In fact, I'd say if you're reading it one time, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. I've read it like 3 or 4. Or listen to it. The full audiobook is on YouTube for free. It's a really annoying voice that's audio of the audio book, but I can remember listening to it and just going, "Wow, yeah, that makes so much sense." So
But
if you want
that's talking of the sacrifices they have to make as well. Like, how bad do you
to,
want it? Do you really mind having an annoying voice in an audiobook, or there's some, the information that's just is life changing? Do you really mind just bearing through this annoying voice for a couple of hours just to gain that knowledge? Like, how bad do you really want it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that is a testament to you, because you kind of remind me of this is going to be funny. This might make a few people laugh, and it might not be the right metaphor, but like the David Goggins of Forex. I've just seen you just keep on going and keep on getting slammed and keep on getting slammed, and then going, yeah, like with the My Forex funds. And obviously your journey beforehand, and just losing your account and being there and going, oh my gosh, like I can't do that, and having to give up, your swing trading account because of work, and doing all this stuff and having to make all these adaptations but keep on pushing through. It is that. It's the sacrifice that he talks about in those books really sets it into what you actually need, what you have to give up to be a trader in order to gain everything on the other side. Because if you want this and you want this lifestyle and you want to not work, or you want to get this money, or I don't know, you want to be like, I don't know, me for example, I just go on holiday just whenever. Yeah, you've got to sacrifice a lot to get to the point of, hey, I'm not even profitable. I'm just below that, in that weird zone where you're not profitable, but you're not losing, and then sacrifice even more to get to the other side. Like you switching 3 strategies in a year and then hopping onto something and then going, I'm doing this. And then when you had it and you've gone through all those lessons and you've got beaten by drawdown, you got beaten by all this psychology, you lost accounts, you've had to adapt, you've had to change, you've had to backtest, you've had to do all this stuff. When you did get into that right set and the market conditions were good for you, you capitalized on it, and bam. And Mark Douglas talks about that in detail, the capitalization on the wins and how to deal with losses, which is fantastic.
It does indeed. Now, another point that I'm just thinking, reflecting on the journey, how for listeners, the way to make it a little easier for anyone trying right now is to be able to identify and where you're at right now, and what is the route that you need to take to get from A to B. Set the realistic expectations, because the problem with me was that I kept thinking that I'm just an inch close from getting there. And it just led to a constant, donkey stick carrot situation, I felt like this carrot just in front of me that, for the last however long it is, and it's just so difficult to handle psychologically. But when you have someone with you to tell you, mate, you're at a good stage, but you're not necessarily up there. You still need to work on A, B, C, and D to get there. Then you won't, and you're not going to beat yourself up as much for when you lose, or just take it a bit slower, because you know that there is still work to be done, and you're not necessarily as close as you think you are. And that's just one of the things for people, as a motivation to either get a friend, get a training buddy, or get a mentor to help you with to set them expectations right.
Yeah, 100%. And that's basically answered the question of, what advice or tips would you offer to help beginners in the market? You've done it. You've moved on to the second one. So, no, I definitely appreciate that. And it's good to hear, I guess, for people to hear it, not just from me, but as everyone knows, me with my own mentor and investing in myself, even though he wasn't necessarily the cheapest option in the entire world, was the thing that got me there. And just to have someone say, why are you doing that? In some cases, which was me with everything, why are you doing that? It makes no sense. Do this stuff instead because this works, and you can see it work in the markets. It's like, oh, that would have taken me so long to figure that out if I would have figured it out at all. If you lean on the collective experience of someone else and go, okay, can you just share with me your thoughts, your opinions, your processes? And they go, yeah, no worries. Like, here's all this stuff. You don't necessarily advance 8 years. Like, I didn't advance Ilya to 8 years. Like, that's not what I've done. But have I given him the experience to push further? I mean, you can answer that question, Ilya. As a mentor, talking to his mentoree, what were those benefits in terms of that? What did the mentorship actually do for you?
You know, well, that's you will have to agree or disagree with this one. I was technically, at least, I was on a decent enough level when I came to you. And that's what you thought and told me when we were talking, that it sounds all right, sounds like you're good to go. And before actually dipping my toes into it, I thought the only thing that messed me up is psychology, and I'm not stupid, I can handle myself, I'll be fine. But it's so good that you were there. It's the thing that benefited most from you is that the game of trading is very lonely in itself. You learn you learn by yourself, and you go through the process by yourself. And the stage that I was at, I've done a huge amount of work, but there was no one to sort of review it or confirm that you are indeed in the right path. And you were that person for me. I came up to you and I showed you all my work, all my back test, all my strategy and everything. I said, I've done all this, but I'm not actually sure if that's what's supposed to be done. if I'm doing the right thing. And firstly, you did obviously confirm that was the case, and then that was number one confirmation for me. Okay, at least I didn't waste time. I'm doing somewhat right. I'm somewhat on the right path. But then when the game began and the challenge began, you became sort of an accountability partner. You know what I mean? Sort of like kept me accountable for for my psychology, for my decisions, for everything. Just keeping me in check. And if you don't have that, you chose a very slippery road.
Yeah. Speaking from personal experience, I can completely agree. Okay, cool. Well, also thank you for the nice words. That's very nice. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help in some way. Which I guess quite abruptly brings us on to the last question, because I know we're at 45 minutes now. Don't keep you all day, because you're probably the best person to talk to about this, because I know your psychology is so tight now from being where it is. How do you stay disciplined? How do you now, going through all the stuff that you've done, manage your emotions while trading? Is it just that you've been beaten up so much by the markets that nothing phases you? Do you have a routine? Is it that you just use an accountability partner when you need to? What are the things that are helping you now to stay disciplined and to manage those emotions?
Well, first of all, and it's very important, whatever you trade in, you have to be 100% sure in this. If you give in a strategy, if you have a strategy and you haven't backtested it, then what gives you confidence to trade at all? You've got this, let's make a strategy, and you happily present it to your mentorees. But although we have a full trust in you, right? We chose you as a mentor. But personal-wise, how do you have this confidence, to go through it if you haven't checked it all yourself?
Mm.
So, it's by no means any distrust or disrespect towards your work, but it is to help your own psychology, whatever you give in or whatever you trade. Back test it to the deepest detail you can. Know all the numbers, know all the maximum historical drawdowns that it can go to. Know your win rate, everything. Because if it does come to those bad days, how do you know that that's not, how do you know that you're going to come out and still be a winner?
Mm.
Where do you grasp this confidence from?
Mm.
So for me, whatever you gave me, I still had to go and just even if you gave me data, I still have to back test it.
Yeah, it's true. You have done that a few times.
for my own sake, just so I gain confidence in this.
Mm.
Do I feel calmer when I trade? A little bit, but not much. I still, I can't help it. I'm still watching my trades. I'm still emotionally involved. But at this stage, I just wanted to, but to be ruining it by the simple mistakes.
Mm.
So to answer the question, I still experience all the horror that people talk about, but I just perhaps gain a bit of strength to resist it in a way that it doesn't lead to actions no more.
Mm.
I still feel it all. Wait, I no longer do stupid things because of that.
100%. Yeah, awesome. And probably because of the fact that if you do something stupid, you're going to have to come up to me and go, Alex, I've done another stupid thing. And you'll be hearing me going, why? Why did you do that? Oh, that's good.
But number one, definitely just have confidence in what you trade, because otherwise, what are you even doing?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think you raise a really good point, which is the back testing. It's so good to hear you do that. Of course, I'd hope this would rub off on my my mentorees, but I don't force any of them like Ilya to back test. Ilya is a special case because even if I give him something that I will have just back tested, he'll go, yeah, cool, and he'll just go and back test it. He'll just go back. But in saying that, I do the same thing. When Ilya first started giving me back testing results, didn't trust it. I went over all of it by myself, and only after he sent me his first load and I saw that mine and his hit up 100%, maybe one or two a little bit different, then I could be like, okay, I can trust this 100%. And it was only after seeing that and actually back testing what he'd back tested could I do that. So 100% agree. Like, you can get confidence and you can derive confidence, however little it may be or however much it may be, from data. And I was saying this to another guy in the group who also listens to this, and I'm sure he'll be listening to it right now. I said to him, because he was doing his own little strategy, he was doing his own thing. 2 weeks, it worked fantastic. 1 week, boom, really bad. I don't know if it nearly took him out, but it was close to it. And I said, mate, if you just have that data, you know what your profits should be. You know what to an extent of how much you've done your back testing, your drawdown should be. You know what win rate should be. So when you're going through all of this stuff, you can say to yourself, oh, I've done 2 losses. Oh, that actually still falls in line with my drawdown plan. That still there falls in line with my risk management. That should still fall in line with my win percentage, blah, blah, blah. And you can do all that stuff so you have a handle on it. You can actually say to yourself, okay, cool, like I'm getting this. Every time I win like 3 or 4 trades in a row, I immediately think, because of the confidence I have in my data, the next couple of ones that I'm going to lose. That's not me being negative. It's me knowing my data so well and being able to look at it and being in the market for so long that, not that I can predict stuff for when it's going, but when the losers come through, I can kind of go, oh, yeah, I expected that. That's what's going to happen. Sure, if I get 4 or 5 in a row, that's going to suck and I'm going to hate that. But for the most part, I can go through the emotions and the wins and losses of trading fairly normally because I know my data. So that's a fantastic point that you raised there, Ilya. I really appreciate that, mate.
There's just nothing that surprises you. You know, you can guide your expectations with how your performance is. You know, you can see that you're in a winning streak. You in advance prepare yourself for a couple of losers. You know, and in that way, it's not surprising you. It's not a shock.
Absolutely right. You're 100% correct about that. So yeah. Well, I know we've been talking for about 52 minutes now. Is there anything that you want to have, any final notes, any advice for anyone, any quotes? I don't know what you want to do, but is there anything that you want to give to the listeners here?
Well, don't want to go into, Tony Robbins type of stuff, but
I love it, mate. Go for it.
Mate, but the biggest factor, my situation. I've, in a way, just left myself with no income. Just went all in. And I don't. First of all, don't recommend anyone doing it. It's no good. But sometimes you just have to believe in yourself. But try to understand me on this one. It's not your typical, believe in yourself, mate, you'll be good. It's true belief that you actually can make it. Because one thing is saying it, I believe in myself, I'll be doing it. But then the moment things go south, you start doubting. Really work on your thoughts and your thinking process, your mindset, whatever goes through your mind, just remember that every little vibration, every little thing that goes through your head does make a difference. So keeping yourself, positive and genuinely believing that you can do it. For me, I felt like that was the most crucial thing. Having this confidence that I know it might not be going right now, but I am 100% certain it is inevitable that I will make it. Like, there is no other option. There is no plan B. It's just one way, and it's going to be it. And you have to be sure about this. Not just saying this, but mean it. It's much more difficult to achieve than it is to vocalize it as I do now.
Yeah.
But you really have to work on this. Really just put a block on all the negative thoughts that they can, swerve you out the path.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one for me. Just keep your thoughts right.
Mate, absolutely. I love that. That's fantastic. If you're not all sitting there psyched to just get out and just start trading, because I am. I'm already all good. I'm fine. But that is huge. Please listen to what he said, because that was awesome. Well, Ilya, it's been fantastic. Thank you for answering all my questions. I really appreciate that, mate.
Thank you very much, Alex. And I apologize for the waffle. Try to keep it concise, but, thoughts are floating.
No, it's all right. That's exactly how I talk anyway. Perfect. Okay. Well, that's it from me.